My brothers, my brothers in Christ. It's shaken, gentlemen. Pretty eventful weekend, I would say. I would imagine everybody's probably thinking hard about, where we're going, where we're going as a country. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but watching this stuff play out, I'm starting to have existential questions about America. Uh, I mean, and I think our media and a lot of the dialogue and the discourse going on right now, it's really not for us. And it's not doing us a service. It's not informing us as to how things are. I get the feeling as I watch this shit that obviously they see us and the government or the ruling class or American elites as like two totally separate entities. Uh, and it's just I'm just starting to come to terms with that more or less. Like I, you know, it started to become, I started to think about it when somebody brought up that Iran isn't, they haven't declared war on the American people. And they really haven't. I don't really see anybody uh, rah-rahing the Persian, you know what I mean? Rah-rahing war with Persia. I haven't seen that yet. And I doubt I will. I mean, we just don't have a truck with them. We just don't have a beef with those people. And they're a very, civilized lot of people. And it seems like everybody knows somebody who's Persian because everybody knows they're not Iranians, they're Persians. But from what I've heard, I've never really heard anybody badmouth a Persian. I've never heard a Persian crossing any, really, being just a crook or a distasteful, person in general. I've only really heard good things, but they haven't, overtly, really said anything about the American people. And it becomes clearer and clearer that they have no beef with us at all. They don't have a beef with Americans. They have a beef with our government because, we're in a global world, as everyone says, and it's true. And we are an empire of sorts, and we have a ruling class, these people that have control of our government, that decide what we do, where our money goes, who we ally with. That is who the Iranians have a truck with. And honestly, I think we're kind of on the same team in some sense, because a lot of Americans are like, these people are crooks, they are not on our side. And the Iranians are, they are on our side. They have a problem with the people who rule us, just like we have a problem with them, for different reasons, of course. But in the end, I mean, they're on our side. We're fighting these bastards just as much as anybody else is, and fucking, we're under their jackboot, same as the Iranians. And honestly, I kind of feel like it's kind of heartening, like to see them, to see them get a kick up the ass. You know, they thought that this was just going to be easy peasy and they were going to come through and just lay these guys out. And it turns out there's more to it than that. It's not just some little pushover bullshit incursion. No, they picked a fight with like the worst. I mean, Trump picked a stupid fight here, and obvious they had been glazing him apparently enough to get the guy to think that he could do this. Because honestly, I just wanted to go through and, oh wow, Salman Rushdie, which was an Iranian. I didn't see that message until just now. Yeah, you're right. That guy was an Iranian. Oh, damn it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that guy was Iranian, and yeah, they finally had him stabbed in the end. But I just get the feeling like there's so much more to this, and we're not being given the facts here. Bro, did you know that the Persians have been around since like 550 BC? Bro, they are older than Judaism. They started the religion of Zoroastrianism. Like these people have been around since people have been around. These dudes,
The philosopher 10 says, "What's up, fellas?"
these dudes, these Persians, they go back as far as we have like written records, man. That's how far these people, not the country. Everybody knows they're Persians, they're not Iranians. Bro, they've been around for 2,500 years, man. 2,500 years. They have seen off the Roman Empire. They have seen off the British Empire. Dude, these people have staying power. And if there's one thing that you to last 2,500 years is no joke. The Romans, they're not around. People don't call, oh, the Roman people. There's no group of people that are the Romans. There is no group. That doesn't exist. But the Persians exist. Those people they've welcomed and goodbyed, bon voyaged everybody. And Trump has the gall to think that we're going to be the ones that stick in their craw. We're going to be the ones that vanquish these people, that break them up and scatter them to the wind. Bro, hello. Have you even opened a history book, bro? You chose the one group of people that shit is not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. Anybody who looks at this situation and tells you that we're going to come out the victors, bro, they're sadly mistaken. They're lying to you. It's that simple. They're lying to you. Bro, these people they have seen the Islamic conquest. They survived that. Bro, they've been around since as long as the West. These people have been here since the West began, man. Like, how could you? I mean, perhaps so. Some thread of Western civilization, survived along with the Persians. And maybe we're doing better, or we're doing better. We're not doing better now. Dude, that's like bro, you're thinking about this year. You're thinking about this year. You got to, these people have been around for 2,500 years. 2,500 years. Okay, you guys just stop saying, "Oh, I don't think they've been around," or dude, they've been around 2,500 years. The Persian people, they're not going anywhere. We are in big trouble. Big trouble, dude. Our world is fixing to change forever, bro. It's fixing to change. If you thought that the dollar was getting weaker, the West was on the decline, bro, wait till this conflict ends. Wait till this conflict ends, bro. Our world is fixing to change. As Americans, it's fixing to change, bro. And Trump's fucking stupid ass took it from what could have been like the Roman Empire, 300 years of decline, or for us, it could have been 100, who knows? But he just substantially propelled us into the future. I mean, that sucks and all, but the worst thing is we, like, bro, we've been sitting at this level of livability. Our what is it? Our standard of living has been so good because we were the hegemon of that region of the planet. Whoever controls that region is the top dog. We just got kicked out. we just walked out. We just walked out of the fucking region you have to control if you want to control Earth. There's no two ways about it. There is no two ways about it. Like, we were only in control of the world because Iran was willing to let us be in control of the world. We had worked out a situation where they did their thing And we even got them to let Israel stay there. We just picked a fight with the one people who can literally throw us out of the Middle East and knock us off our fucking throne. Who do you like? The Middle East is the only reason why we're still on top of China. We're not even on top of China because we're stronger than China. We're sitting on top of their asses, like with the Middle East, because the petrodollar, because we had worked out these sweetheart deals in the Middle East. That's why we were above China. Well, do you think they're gonna? Those deals are done, bro. Those deals are they're gonna get ripped up because they were all contingent on the fact that we could defend them. That's that. Well, a lot of shit happened over the weekend. I did my research, dude. You're thinking about small. You're thinking small potatoes, bro. Do you think of people with 2,500 years? No, well, the Jews got everybody kicked out of the region. I mean, we would have sat there for many years yet, but they seem to think that they're the ones. It's like, bro, okay, yeah, the Jews, they sure as hell have been around for a long time, not longer than the Persians, not longer than the Persians, bro. And they seem to think they were gonna win in a fucking an ethnic struggle between the next longest people that have been on the fucking planet, or at least in the Western eyes. It just blows my mind how we actually allowed all this to happen. You have to think, you know, Persia, that, like I said, they started in 550 BC. That's like, and the only reason, or the reason why we know that is because our records only go back to Greece, and Greece's main foe was the Persians. That's why we know. That's why we've been around this. The West has been around that long, and that's why the Persians. That's why we know they've been around that long, because the Westerners way back then were writing about the Persians. And these people, they have gone through, I don't know how many different, the Roman Empire, they survived that. You know, they just survived the Middle Ages, no problem. They get through all these, you know, millennia, not even just centuries, millennia. These, you know, think about this. We're dying off now. As a people, we've only been around for 250 years. And we can barely survive that. You know, like the English are comparatively young, like half the age of the Persians, basically. You know, like seriously. And then not only that, but the Persians, they've been around that long. They, like, imagine the endurance it takes as a people in your way of life for you to go for 2,500 years, day in, day out, generation in, generation out, and no changes. And the population has stayed relatively whole and intact. And they haven't been scattered around the world like the Jews, but they have stayed intact, even through the Islamic conquest. And then also think about this, the British Empire. The British Empire basically successfully subjugated India and countless other places. But two places they did not subjugate that weren't Western: China, Persia. Those are the only two. Those are the only two that England couldn't beat up. Now they, you know, the Persians didn't like straight up 1-to-1 stand up to the British. Man, I don't even know what the fucking problem there with that was. It's really pisses me off, man. This fucking bullshit. Bro, I was fucking cooking with gasoline, dude. I was cooking with gasoline there, bro. I cannot fucking believe that shit. Such bullshit. Yeah, I know. One of my fucking or my modem, it's one of those 5G modems. It's great with the stream, but for some reason, I've had it for a couple of years. One of the It only has two Ethernet output uh, ports, and for some reason, one of them fucking quit working, or it doesn't work very good now. But more or less, you know, actually, it gave me a chance to use the bathroom. Really, what we're looking at here is we're looking at an old and storied country, super old and storied. Persia. We all know Persia. We all have heard of it. We understand that this is an old storied people. They, and the English, like I was saying, the English, they tried to subjugate these people and they weren't able to do it. They were able to do it to the Indians, which is like a whole subcontinent. That's not just like a one little country. No, no. That's like whole ranges of areas. They had like there's a reason why Pakistan and India are separate. They tried to take China too. They weren't able to do that. China, historically, they're the same as the Persians. They're as old as the Persians. Now imagine conquering China. That doesn't seem like an easy, oh, we can, that's a walk in the park. We can do that. Nope. No, the conquering China is no joke. That's the same thing with the Persians. Just when you think of the Persians, think of China because they're the only two countries that didn't get colonized by Europe in that whole area. And don't think that the Russians and the British fought wars over that control of those areas, Afghanistan and Persia. And BP, you know what that stands for, right? British and Persian Oil Co. British and Persian. That is what BP stands for. British Petrol, that's bullshit. They came up with that later. No, it's British and Persia. Bro, this was like, they already had India. This played right in. This is what made England so special, so big. And these Gulf states, I didn't even realize this, but all those Gulf states, they all have a royal family. Yeah, that's because they weren't really countries. England owned Saudi Arabia. It was just a big fucking desert. But and when India or England gave it up, what? Yeah, it's British and Persian oil. Yes, that is where BP started. That's why BP started. And because they had a deal, they were, like I said, they didn't subjugate Persia, but they had them as kind of a junior partner sort of thing. They certainly danced to the British tune. And the English, they had control of that whole area. That's why they were in control of the planet, dude. That's why England was such a force back then. Because it was when they got control of, after World War One, they really were, really powerful, even though their empire would start waning. It does it not. It makes perfect sense that this BP, I didn't know that either. I saw that. I said, son of a bitch. Now that they mention it, now that I hear it mentioned, they were always out of Persia. They were always out of Iran. That's why Iran became Iran, because they threw the English out and the Americans. And really, you know, we took over the English Empire. Everybody knows this. But when they left, well, the Shah was British backed. It was so that, because, the Persian people, how dare they, thought that they should be the ones that benefited from their oil. But, the English, that's not what they were about. They were about subjugating. That's what the colonies were about. They were not altruistic endeavors. They were private ventures. They were businesses. They weren't doing it for fun. They weren't doing it to be nice and to, like spread their culture. No, they were doing it for money and power. And that's where it, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's why the English had us overthrow that guy, because it was a democratically elected. Just hold up. Let me, you bringing up other stuff. I'm trying to do this sequentially here. Stupid ass TTS. Anyway, like I said, in the 1800s, the British, honestly, Persia had a lot of value before oil was discovered. Like I said, where it was located, centrally located, it's the linchpin of the world. If you want to go from Europe to China, you've got to go by Persia, or by the Suez. Either way, you're going by Persia. If I mean, this was a really, before oil was even the industrial age, England was dealing with the Persians. Like in the 1700s, they were dealing with the Persians because they had India. And because they had India, that made Persia very, it made it it was like an entrance into the Asian subcontinent from Europe and stuff. And Russia was a competitor of England. They were trying to wrest control of Asia away from England because that was kind of they saw that as their sphere of influence. And Persia, half of it, like a lot of its border is up against Russia. So Russia, Afghanistan, that was like the battleground for the Russians and the British. And then oil's discovered. The Persians discover oil. Well, the British was able to nest feather themselves a little nest for a little while and able to kind of hoard everything for themselves. But, in the 1950s, the first country to really do the decolonization thing, to really say, hey, we want our shit. This is our natural resource. Bro, it was the Persians. These people aren't stupid people, man. They're not stupid. They're not, pussies. They're not pushovers. These people are smart and they have administrative capabilities. These people are not dumb. They're not dumb. These are not barbarians. These people are very cultured, very civilized. We know these people are civilized. And maybe their government is, maybe it isn't. I really don't care. It's not, that's not really something that I'm all that concerned with. Whether or not, they're treated properly by their rulers. We're not treated properly by our rulers. It's like welcome to the party kind of a deal there. And it just that's kind of a moot point. But and then in the like I said, 1950, they're one of the first ones. And so and then it's like a cascade thing where the English, they don't have the money. All of they're basically social movements, democratic social movements that erupt in all the subjugated countries or all the subjugated lands that Britain had a hold of. India, Saudi Arabia, all these different places start rebelling. And the English realize, hey, we just don't have the money for this. We don't have the money. We don't have the manpower for this. We couldn't do this if we wanted to. So they start backing out. When they start backing out, just like every other European power, when they leave a land, they try to leave it broken up into little warring tribes almost. And that's what you see with Saudi Arabia. What the English did with Saudi Arabia was they broke up the different oil producing spots on Saudi Arabia and they gave them to different noblemen, basically different lords, different imams, or whatever the different Arab families. That's why we have the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emiratis, Qatar. These were all they're just a family that the English gave the deed to that land to. And they didn't even have populations. You're talking about a family taking control of, like we see them as countries today. They were not countries back when the English gave it to them. They were fucking desert. They were pieces of desert. They have turned them into countries with desalination plants and built, all the money they have. But the whole point of giving them the land was more or less, they chose who owned each piece, and they cut special deals with each one of these ruling families. And each one of these countries, Qatar, Kuwait, they had to import populations to run to man the machinery to pump this oil. A lot of them were Filipinos. No, they were all immigrant population basically. And the rulers of the countries, they shipped in workers and they shipped them out so that they didn't have to worry about a native population. I mean, that was at the beginning. But since then, they've built up these populations with desalination plants and with shipping and this and that. They've built up, they've tried to diversify because that's what the English told them. They said, look, we're going to give you the deeds to these wells, to these oil producing, this is going to be on you. You're going to make fucking tons of money. You're going to be wildly wealthy, but you need to diversify. Basically they gave them kind of like advice. And the advice, of course, was diversify, but do it through us, deal with us. And then we took over after World War II. And, the English, basically, as they were giving up their empire, they handed it off to us. and we took over. And that's like with all these countries. That's why the petrodollar and all that shit, that's why that exists. Because and we're so lucky that we inherited this shit. The English, they feathered this sweetheart little nest for us. They put in their they put people in power that were sympathetic to English and white causes, or our they were sympathetic to us, and that's why they got put in power. And the whole deal was, though, you're such a, you're just a family in charge of a plot of land, a very rich plot of land that the rest of the world is going to want to take from you. Now, we don't want them to take that from you because you're good to us. So here's the deal. If you stick it out with us, we will protect you. We will make sure that nobody takes this land away from you. If you will just side us, if you will throw in your lot with us, we will make sure that you're not threatened. Your position of power, your position of wealth, we will protect that. We will be the guarantors, the benefactors of your throne. And that was the deal. And we even got them to use the dollar. We got them to say, okay, not only are we're going to give you guys bases and let you guys do your thing here. We don't really care as long as we're getting ARC money. And they didn't care. What do they care? They're getting the money. So they use the dollar, and then they cut a deal with us where every dollar that we use to buy oil, they will just recycle it. The petrodollar recycling, where they will buy American treasury bonds. And that's really why we have the standard of living we have, is because the petrodollar, because these Saudi Arabians, these royal families, because they're good enough to allow us to live this well. Dude, why we can run trillion-dollar debt or billion-dollar deficits every year with our budget? Because of the Arabs, because of their shine, the shine they took to us. Bro, that is literally the only reason why our standard of living is as good as it is. Because smart Englishmen and smart American men had the good sense to be nice to these dudes. And the only thing is that we kind of shit where we eat with Iran. We pissed them off. Really and truly, we pissed them off. Not only did we piss them off with the Shah, forcing the Shah upon them and overthrowing Mossadegh. And I forget what there was a reason why they took the hostages. I mean, it was more or less because we were fucking with them and up in their business and forcing oppressive regimes on them. So and Israel was being belligerent. So they took those hostages in the late 70s after they had their revolution, and ever since then we've just been like talking shit and taking them for granted. For like half a century, we've taken this sweetheart deal we had for granted. Never mind the fact that the Iranians, although they didn't, that they are our enemies to one extent, that's how they've been portrayed in our media. But think about this: at any time, they could have disrupted everything and taken away this whole sweetheart deal we've worked out. Because you see how delicate it really is. We've gotten a class on how delicate the Middle Eastern situation really is. It is all contingent on there being peace there, on everybody. Think if just one of those countries decided, no, we're not having the Americans here. We refuse to allow peace to settle if those assholes are here. Bro, if we would have what we have now. All it takes, bro, the Houthis were able to disrupt all this shit. That was like a group of guys, less than 100, with like skiffs. We're not talking about a country even. We're not talking about a navy. We're talking about a ragtag fucking just group of fucking idiots, pirates, can totally fuck all this up. Like I says, all of this is contingent on us making sure, or keeping them insulated, keeping them on their respective thrones, and keeping the money coming in. Once either one of those variables is disrupted, that the jig is up. It's no longer a status quo. The world is freaking out right now because they're not getting their oil. So, I mean, there's two things we had to do: make sure that it's those Arab families, those royal families are getting their cut, and that the rest of the world is getting their oil. Those two things had to happen for us to stay in power there, to stay in control of that piece of land, that plot, that little area of oil wells, little gas stations. Well, we've pissed the Iranians off something awful. I mean, we just like butcher half of their royal family, kill untold amounts of government officials, kill children, women and children. So the idea that things are going to go back to the way they were, it's possible, but think like, is it likely? Is it likely? And then also, what about the Arabs and the Qatars and all them? What are they thinking? Are they thinking, oh, this is a good deal, let's keep this going? Or are they thinking, man, maybe that BRICS shit, maybe that wasn't such a bad idea after all? Because make no mistake, that's what BRICS was. Iran is in BRICS. Iran was literally the foot in the door for BRICS to. And when people think, oh, BRICS, they're trying to, fight the US dollar. Well, how are they trying to fight the US dollar? By throwing us out of the Middle East. That's a fact. If Russia, China, South Africa, Brazil, they all made friends with Iran because they're the only country that's there in the Middle East and a part of the GCC, the Gulf area oil producing countries. They're the only one we don't have in our back pocket. But when you think of mafia bosses and they own judges, they have judges in their pocket. We have the Saudi Arabians, the Qatars, the Emiratis. We have them in our pocket, baby. We're like, that's why we are the top dog on the planet, because they are in our pocket. You can't even wage war without those people in your pocket. You cannot wage war without they're okay. They could cut the oil off at any time and take you right off your perch. So we have to have those people in our pocket. Well, we didn't have Iran in our pocket. We did at one point. Now we don't, which kind of points out the absurdity of Trump treating them like this pariah state and being so pigheaded, like, oh yeah, oh, they've chosen a leader. He's not acceptable to me. He's just not bro. You do realize that if they decide that it's unacceptable that us being in control there, like, it's so ungrateful. It's so absurd. It's so stupid what Trump is doing and what our rulers, our elite class is doing right now. Because make no mistake, the Iranians are not, their truck is not with us. Their beef is not with me and you. They have no truck with the American people. They have a problem with the dudes who've been cutting all these backroom deals, the guys that are making all the decisions, that keep giving Israel all this money and letting Israel just do whatever the fuck they want. They have an issue with our ruling class. That's who their fight is with. And the crazy thing is, their fight, it hasn't even been like, they could be dickheads. They could have done this years ago. They could have not let us rule there. And maybe they won't going forward. I don't know. Pray to God that they do let us. I mean, all we have going for us is that people have been using the dollar for decades. People are used to using the dollar. Contracts are already written in the dollar. So it's like, it's kind of a go with the flow thing. So if everything stopped right now, would the flow continue? Most likely. But at the same time, that BRICS stuff, it's going to be sped up slightly. I mean, and this is China. They're not trying to knock us off our throne this year. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They're looking at it in terms of centuries, man. They're watching us wither on the vine. Populace-wise, our population is shrinking. Last year, we grew 2%. Our GDP was 2%. We grew 2%. China grew 5%. And we're on track to do that again this year. Bro, that's unsustainable. They're going to, and this is the story of humankind. Populations displacing one another. Populations growing so big, like the Germans, Lebensraum, where they push another people off their square. That's what the history of the world is. Like the Polish, they didn't even have a country a few years ago. They got absorbed by the USSR. That's what I'm saying here. The Chinese, bro, they are growing. They're going to knock us off our shit, whether we like it or not. When they're growing at a 5% clip, we're growing at a 2% clip, they win, we lose. That simple. It's that simple. Whether or not we have some sweetheart deals worked out with these Arabs, that's a matter of time. They know all they have to do is wait. They don't need to go after Taiwan right now. Taiwan is theirs, whether we like it or not. In due time, Taiwan is theirs. They will get that island, whether we like it or not, eventually. It's beyond our control. We haven't a choice in the matter. Okay, whether or not it stays with us 5 years longer or not, does that really matter? Not really. Not in the grand scheme of things. That's how Persia, that's how Iran thinks. They see things in terms of hundreds of years, and that's how China sees things. And we're so caught up with like what's going on right now, or the ships aren't getting. It's like, dude. I mean, the ship's not getting through. That's big news, and that's bad. Only in like as far as I'm concerned, only insofar as that is going to be what causes the rest of the world to stop using the dollar to buy oil and sell oil in. Like, I mean, that's essentially what the worst case scenario of this war is that we, first of all, we get knocked off the top position and China takes over pretty much. I mean, you don't realize how close China is. China is already there. In name only, we're the top dog because all the contracts say the United States and all the different oil contracts go through American banks. Dude, as soon as we lose the Middle East, that's done. That's done. China's going to cut deals with everybody. I mean, if we could, the worst case scenario is that we get thrown out of the Middle East and we get thrown out with prejudice because of our fucking dealing with Israel. Because make no mistake either, dude, Israel is us, man. That is a fucking front group. That is a facade if I've ever seen one, man. That is no doubt about it. A American front country. It's a front regime. It's a front regime, man. And I mean, because I was thinking, why are we, bro? Why are we doing it? Why are we allowing Israel to push us around? Because Israel's not pushing us around. Because Israel is us. It's that simple. Israel is us, man. And to look at it differently, it's to deny facts, man. That is to deny facts, to see Israel as another country. They're not, man. They're not. I mean, to some degree they are. I guess they make some decisions on their own, but they don't make decisions like this on their own. Israel was nothing until we decided that it was going to be our little capitalistic foothold of the region. I mean, and Israel, they've got their own little designs. They're trying to grow up and break away from us. But make no mistake, they have been our little puppet. It's for the 20s. They were just our little puppet. And we've been bullying several peoples in that area through them because we pay for their army. We subsidize everything. And to say that we're doing that and then they're doing shit without our consent is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Now, that may be a clever narrative for them to spin for Americans to think, but it's not realistic. Do you think the rest of the world sees it that way? We pay for everything they have. We pay for all their little fights, all their bratty little explosions and airstrikes. We pay for all that. Do you think the rest of the world distinguishes us between them? Benjamin Netanyahu was born in Pennsylvania, bro. And maybe they're getting a little unruly and a little out of line. And maybe they are going to decouple and shit. But as it stands, like maybe just in the last 5 years, they've started to decouple a little bit. But all the fucking bullying that Israel did before that was us. They were us, man. They are us. And I think it's disgusting. And it's like and that's what I'm saying is the Iranians are fighting the American elite class. They're not fighting us, bro, because we don't see Israel as us. But you bet your fucking boots, all the Jewish people in America see them as us. All the fucking politicians see them as us. Why do you think they don't have to register as foreign agents if you're an Israeli lobbyist? Why would that be? Why would they be allowed to live as if they're just regular citizens of America and not have to register as foreign agents if Israel wasn't us? Does that make any sense? Or does this make sense? We don't want our people to think that this is us and these are our own little embezzlement scams. These are our own little crooked schemes that we're going to, this is, we're going to make a little country of the Jays because they're as crooked as we are. You know, that's what it comes down to. They're as crooked as we are. They have some sort of a claim to this land and they go along with all this shit as long as they got a cut. So we're going to set up this little outpost there, and all of the clandestine shit that we want to do, we're going to do it through Israel, you see. And bro, our fucking Homeland Security Department is based in Israel, bro. And you're telling me that Israel isn't America? That this isn't what's going on here? They're not, this isn't some crooked little front, man. Like, bro, okay, sure, whatever you say. What if you say so, my dude? You believe what you want, man. But it's fucking obvious as day to anybody looking at the shit objectively. Israel is America, bro. And we've been fucking, it's all of our fucking politicians, little clandestine, their little operations, their crooked little ventures. They all go through Israel. It's clever as all get out. You have to admit, it's very clever. But that is the long and the short of the situation. We're looking at about to be bro, Israel and us may get thrown out after this. Why? We better, Trump, he's obviously a moron. He doesn't know what he's doing, but like our best hope is that they squash this and make nice with the Iranians and the Arabs. Because the only reason why we're getting this sweetheart deal is because the Iranians weren't, making a big, they weren't showing their ass and they weren't ruining the whole situation. We're sitting there collecting money while Iran is watching and they could stop it. And then we literally sabotage that ourselves. Our own president sabotaged that. Can you believe this? This is incredible. Like, bro, these people are high on their own supply, man. What the fuck were they thinking, dude? Because it's, and with the way this situation worked, is you think like, why would, these Arab countries, why would they continue on with this stuff when they have Israel being this asshole belligerent? And like I said, it's because they have all the contracts are in American dollars. It took them decades to set up this system. And it's going to cost money to change. It's going to cost money to change. So that, they don't want to change, not unless they have to, but make no mistake, man, we're convincing them to get rid of it, to walk away from us by doing this shit. That's what we're doing. We're convincing these people to make us pariahs, basically, or to say, you know what, you can't deal with the Americans. They're untrustworthy. You can't believe, they're two-faced. You can't believe a fucking word they say. Because when they'll deal with you 1 second and tell you, oh yeah, we're doing diplomatic talks, and then they'll fucking turn around and bomb your ass. Then they'll turn around and fucking take out your nuclear program while they're smiling in your face. Bro, do you think that plays well around the world? And people wonder why NATO is, even Trump's throwing the weight around saying, this is going to be good for NATO. They're still like, yeah, man, we're good though, dude. We're good. Nobody wants this stink on them, man. Like, it just sucks. Like, it's awful how this has happened, but we have to be honest with ourselves. This is not good. We are not in a good place right now, my dudes. This is not a good place to be. And when I say not a good place to be, I mean, as in Americans, like America's standard of living is fixing to go down over this. I mean, bro, all those billions of dollars our politicians run up in deficits, bro, those go bye-bye. Those go fucking bye-bye real quick, bro. We're going to be in austerity measures quicker than you can say fucking Jack Rabbit, man. We're going to be there real fast, dude. Like, I mean, I shudder to think at the idea of we don't even know what it's going to be like, but bro, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, man. All of this, us looking around at the rest of the world and kind of like, ooh, man, I wouldn't want to end up like that, or why don't why is it their countries are so shitty or this and that? Well, they can't run up debts. They can't literally spend more money than they collect in taxes every year. We can. Look at England. Look how much they declined when they couldn't do that kind of shit anymore. Like, bro, that's what we're looking at, man. Our civilization is contracting, bro. It's getting smaller. China's is getting bigger. Big time. I mean, well, It's really more or less India that's getting bigger, but China economically is, it's growing 5%. And it really sucks, man. And how could anybody sleepwalk into this? How is it that all these other presidents were knew the score? They knew what the deal was, man. That our bread is buttered by these dudes. And it just, I mean, and you have to wonder, why is it that this terrorist regime was allowed to go on for so long? And it makes sense that, yeah, because we needed it to go long, because if it didn't go along, we didn't get to fucking live so lavishly. Straight up, we didn't get to live so lavishly. And and this is why we haven't, we did all these regime change wars years before, and those were different, and a lot of those, like Iraq was never even a country before, really. It was more or less like a bunch of tribes that the English threw together, and they all hate each other. That's why they were easier to topple. But like Iran, the fact that we thought we were going to go in and fight this homogenous people that have been around for 2,500 years, bro, anybody who knew the situation and who knew history would have told you that there's no fucking way we're going in there and we're going to just go in there and be done in 4 days. That's not a possibility. That's not in the realm of possibilities. And Trump, I guess he got high on his own supply with the Venezuela shit and just thought that we were going to go in there and bust some heads. Like, no, man. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, Venezuela, that's some like tin pot fucking dictatorship in South America. Bro, they ain't been around 2,500 years as a group of people, that homogenous group of people that hasn't changed in 2,500 years. Hasn't changed. They still got the same fucking, bro, you look at their wall paintings and shit, they still look the same. Like, the Greeks don't look the same. The Greeks look very different than they used to. Not the Persians. They look just like they did in the fucking old, the different scripts and paintings and shit from back then. They look the same. That's what's and anybody who thought we were just going to show up and just bust some heads and walk out, bro, there's a reason why we've never fought a war there. Because it didn't make sense, bro. It's nothing but a bunch of mountains. It's basically Vietnam on steroids, bro. We would have never gotten close to defeating those people. And like, man, I just feel like, Trump, he was like almost like cautiously coming at stuff, and he kept going in for these really precision, like scalpel like strikes. And every time he did that, he got a little bit grander, a little more grand, and a little less scalpel like, a little less, you know what I'm saying? Like, and because he went at it with this really cautious mindset, it kind of like tricked him into thinking, oh, I don't need to be cautious. He did this. He attacked Soleimani. Then he does the nuclear strike 6 months ago. Then he takes out the Venezuelan Maduro. And taking out Maduro isn't the same thing as fucking murdering fucking Khomeini. It's not the same thing, not even close. First of all, we didn't kill Khomeini, or we didn't kill Maduro. Maduro's alive. We didn't kill him. And you know something? If the Venezuelans had freaked out and said, how dare you do this, that, and the other, we could have just put back Maduro and said, hey, sorry, hey, we were just, worst case, I'm just saying, like, worst case, we didn't kill the guy. We're not murderers. We didn't kill the guy. Well, that's not our thing. That's Israel's thing. That's our little fucking front man's thing. But somehow we let them convince us. Bro, when you kill a leader like that, what is it going to do to the population? It's not going to fucking, a 25-year-old ethnically homogenous group of people. What is it going to do to them? It's going to strengthen their resolve, most likely. Most likely. They're going to rally around that. Like, to go in there and decapitate. And now, what are we left with now? Not only we're left with a guy who's probably worse than the guy we killed, which is just this is our history with Iran. We can't help but stepping on our own dick in Iran. Cannot help it. We can't help it, man. Every time we mess with Iran, it gets considerably worse. You see, this is our thing, man. This is our thing. Every time we fucking we fuck with that country, life gets considerably worse for us, pretty much. And now we're dealing with that country after once we've strengthened their resolve, they've all banded together. We've put somebody who's worse for us on their fucking in charge, and we're no closer to a regime change than we were 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're no safer than we were 2 or 3 weeks ago. In fact, we're less safe than we were 2 or 3 weeks ago. How about that? Isn't that some fucking wild shit? We're literally less safe because of this dumbass shit. You know, we're less prosperous, less safe because of what Trump just did. And I just, and the reason why I did this stream today, because, bro, they haven't been doing it justice on the news. Bro, this is a fucking calamity, man. This is a fucking calamity. I mean, we'll be fine. We'll walk away or what, I'm sure we'll be fine. But dude, this is probably the worst. This is like the worst thing that could have happened to us in the world is that we lose our foothold. We lose our control over the Arab states. Yeah. Like it just, I mean, that's why China's not sitting on us right now because of that, specifically because of that. And like, bro, and you notice how scared Trump is, bro. He's scared to fucking death. He's like stuttering and shit. Like, it's typical when somebody fucks up, some asshole with an ego fucks up, the way they start like, well, it would be nice if somebody would help me, but I don't need help, blah, blah, blah. All this swaggering, all this bullshit that just totally, it's so invisible. It's so easy to see. This guy has no clothes on. The emperor has no clothes. And it's sad, bro, because we have no clothes too because of this asshole, because of this fucking dickhead. I mean, it blows my mind, bro. How the fuck that this could be this we could have blundered like this, like how the rest of our government didn't say, "Whoa, Donald, no, not good, bro. Not a good idea. Not a good idea, Donald. Hey, this spot over here, just leave that there. That the Democrats didn't make that. That's been here since fucking Nixon. So you just leave that alone, bro. Just stay away from that area. You got no business over there." Oh, but dude, these fucking, and it's funny, these these Jewish billionaires, they don't, they fuck themselves hard right here. They're gonna get fucked in this, guaranteed, dude. They're gonna get proper fucked. They seem to think that they're like they got really high on their supply too, and seem to think like they're like these tough guys. We're the power of the Middle East, bro. Watch how quick you get squashed like a fucking bug, man. Like, bro, China is fixing to swoop in as soon as we're not in control. Israel ain't gonna be. China don't like Israel. They fucking hate those people. It's like I kind of laugh to myself at these Israelis. They really think that their millions of dollars are going to save them, bro. Those Arabs, dude, they make as much money as Miriam Adelson, bro. They could rake that. They rake that much money in. They could wipe their fucking ass with $1 billion. That Miriam Adelson, she's just some stupid kite, bro. Like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous, man. And to think it just blows my mind. They're gonna be up shit's creek too. They're probably not gonna exist after this. Not very long. Not like they were existing. I mean, they've really fucked themselves up. And I don't know how our government really let this go about. Like, man, dude, they're killing the golden goose. Bro, look this shit up yourselves. I'm not bullshitting you. Go do your research, bro. They have killed the fucking golden goose, man. This dude, basically we had this really delicate fucking deal, this nested feathered for ourselves, and we just ruined it pretty much. Like, you just flipped the chessboard over, flipped the table over. It makes no sense, dude. It makes absolutely no sense, man, that we would do this. I don't know why we weren't making friends with the Iranians and telling the Israelis to go fuck themselves. I mean, I guess we're just so arrogant. Like, we think that, we can just throw our weight around and just bully anybody. But this was like the one group of people that you didn't want to do this to. These are like the kid that doesn't say much, the kid that keeps in the trench coat, that keeps to himself and doesn't say much. You don't fuck with that kid, man. You don't fuck with that kid. I mean, it just, bro, these are like shit these are lessons that people learn when they're kids. And somehow, and you see, like, dude, we're copying Iranian drone designs. Like, bro, oh, how the mighty have fallen. We're literally stealing their drone designs. Like, and think about this, bro. We've all seen the Ukraine war and what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. Have you seen those soldiers getting killed by drones? Have you seen how how terrible it is? Dude, that has got to be one of the worst ways to go on this planet, bro. To see a drone and to know that that's a done deal. You're dead already. Bro, I would rather just be fucking dead. I don't wanna know what's coming. I don't wanna have to be alive for 20 seconds after it happened or once like, bro, you're already dead and you get to think about it for a little bit. And that's what we're, like, courting right now with the Iranians. Our boys are gonna get sent over there and have to dude, our boys are gonna get sent over there, and they're gonna have to fucking they're gonna be dying by that, man. They're gonna be getting chased down like dogs. That's what it looks like, a dog being chased down and snuffed out. That's what they're gonna our boys are gonna be going through that, and I'm like, I shudder to think, what it's gonna this like, the new warfare that's on the horizon, the fact the Iranians do it well, this isn't good, man. Like, this is just what the hell what is our ruling class thinking? This is all them, dude. This is all them. Like, they're running deficit. They've got us into all this debt. They can't seem to. They don't want to run the country. They don't want to run it smoothly. They want to fucking just. They want. It's like they want to steal so much. And I've heard Brett Weinstein and other people say, there's something else going on. There's some other force that we're not privy to. We're not aware of. That's pushing us. That is pushing these decisions like us fighting Iran, it's almost inexplicable. It beggars the imagination, beggars the mind. Why? Why did we do this now? Why? What are we getting out of this? Like, who the fuck decided it was a good idea? And it's almost like we're missing a data point here. What is it? What is going on here? Well, I mean, maybe it might have something. And really, and like I was saying with Israel, really, that is our elite. That is American elites. That is the American elite class. That's their little project is Israel. When I say American elites, I say that reasonably for a reason. Dude, most of our elites are Jews. Yeah, most of them are Jews, man. All the professors, all the fucking college, all the people in the college, the academia, they're all basically Jews. Half the Steve Miller, all these motherfuckers, Laura Loomer, these nutcases, bro. That is we basically have a Jewish elite class. We're ruled by Jews. We let these bastards into our country after World War II, and now we're being ruled by them. We wonder why we just got pushed into this war. Well, because we've been giving Jews a lot of authority and a lot of power in our country. That's a fact, man. You know it. You wouldn't watch me if you didn't know it. I mean, they are, and the more I look at it, the more I realize, holy shit, they are in control. They are at least in the majority of control, and Israel is nothing more than their crooked, clandestine little outpost for it. If you want to, I mean, it's awful. It's terrible, really. But Israel, it was nothing until we started bankrolling it. It was nothing. Then we started bankrolling it, and all of a sudden, you know, it's kind of like it's the tail's wagging the dog now, and it sucks. I mean, and really, like I said, our media is just not doing a good. Nobody's doing a good job at talking about this. I haven't seen anybody lay shit out like this. And the reason being is because the jig is kind of up if they tell us what the deal is. If they told the American people why we were really fighting this war, because we're trying, Trump thought we could take control of the Middle East. We could clinch the control by beating, we could knock Iran out and we would take full control over it. Well, nobody else thought that. Nobody's dumb enough to think about that or think that. And now they would kind of have to they would kind of have to come clean, to get us to fight a war, or it would come out that that's why we were fighting for if we put boots on the ground. But like, that kind of is the deal. It's obvious, that's what's going on here. And they fucked up. They misread the situation, or they misread whatever. They didn't have a plan. But and now and our media isn't telling. They're trying to play it off as though, Israel, they attacked first, or Israel was under threat, or this terrorist regime. Well, I haven't seen them ever commit any terrorism. I've never seen them own up to any. They haven't. Other people always own up to it. Like, and honestly, the terrorism that's spoken of is literally just retaliation for the terrorism that our little front group does onto them, that Israel does to that whole area. And it's basically just our little front that we bankroll, and we pay for everything: the guns, the weapons, the people, the food, everything. We pay for it all, and they're over there bullying them. And that's why we're over there. And they don't want to. They just want to kind of. They don't want to scratch the surface. They don't want to get deep into the surface level or below the surface because it looks terrible. Think about how it looks awful. I mean, how you're thinking of them, like they took a good thing that we had and they fucked it up. Think of, they would have to explain that and explain how badly they mishandled, how badly they muffed and just totally fucked this situation up. And they don't want to do that, man. They do not want to do that. I can assure you they don't. It's so fucking sad. And like you see Tucker, he tries, he none of them really want to say want to let the cat out of the bag. So they only let as much of the cat out of the bag as they have to. Even Tucker only lets as much out as he has to. But yeah, maybe Hezbollah does terrorism abroad, but I don't know the facts. You don't know the facts. You know who knows the facts? Our elites. They know the facts. I mean, I don't know if that's Hezbollah. Like they said, Hezbollah's doing shit in Venezuela. How the fuck would I know? How do I know that? First of all, I'd have to. That's like you're looking at the statistics provided by the people you're saying did that. The people you're saying have done this are the ones who tell us that Hezbollah did it. So they have they absolutely they benefit from telling you that Hezbollah is fighting all over the planet. Well, who knows? Maybe, I don't believe any of that shit at this point. I believe, what I can discern as fact, and nothing I get from them can I discern as fact. All this stuff that I'm telling you, it's all fucking history. This is all shit that was fact before the war broke out. None of it came from what these assholes say on the news because you can't believe anything. All you can do is put the pieces together and look at it on your own. Take a good objective look at it with your own two eyes and make your own decision. And that's what I'm trying to do. Present to you, okay, this is the fucking setting the table. This is the table. This is the chessboard. This is how we got here. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm not even really necessarily trying to be right. I'm just trying to show you this is the state of play. I'm not trying to make a value judgment. It's just like, yo, this is how things were before the war. And, this is what the variables that it was that it needed to remain so for the status, for things to stay the same. The Arabs have to feel guaranteed their safety and their profits, and and the rest of the world has to be guaranteed their money or their oil. And I just don't know that anybody can the Arabs honestly say that we'll be able to protect them. We'll be able to keep the Gulf or the Strait of Hormuz open. Well, that remains to be seen whenever the Iranians decide to allow it to be open. So it's like, it's just we're not in a good spot. And for us to get out of this with minimal scrapes, minimal damage, we would have to fix things between us and Iran. And I mean, we'd have to. I doubt that it's even possible, but we would have to fucking fix stuff and put everything back the way we found it, basically. But I don't think Trump will do that. I think he's too proud, too stubborn, too stupid, probably. I mean, he was stupid enough to go into this without a plan. Like, fuck, man, he's stupid. Like, or he's old, or just he's fallen off, though. But that's kind of the deal there. We're looking at potentially the world order changing after this. Potentially, we're looking at the Middle East change. I mean, we're looking at change whether we like it or not. It's just how big of a change is it going to be? You feel me? That's pretty much what it is. How big of a change is it we're looking at? It's fucking wild, though, man. Truly. And now, and I've been kind of like researching it and kind of laying it out. And the more I heard and the more I saw, the more I'm just like, I can't even fucking believe this, man, that these morons did this. It blows my mind. And the Iranians, everybody, like, they talk shit about them. The Iranians are not stupid. They're very smart. Notice, like I said, how they haven't offended the American people. They've been waging war against our elite class, the Israelis and our government. They have not done something as stupid as Trump did by killing their leader. They haven't done that stuff because we would rally to our leader and then they would have a real war on their hands. But they're too smart for that, you see. They have treaded carefully and now they've been put in the exact position that they were hoping for. Our leaders are so stupid that they made the exact mistakes that these guys, because the only way this worked out for them is if they got themselves into a position to where our government was on its own without our sympathy and without the rest of the world's sympathy, and that's exactly what they got. And that's why the Iranians, they didn't attack after the nuclear shit. They were just getting their ducks in a row. And guess what? And they tried this shit. They fucked around with the wrong people at the wrong time. And now we're painted into a Trump is painted into a corner. And because of that, we're painted into a corner. It's just like, damn, dude. How stupid are our elites, bro? I mean, when you think about it, it's not us that are fucking our country up. It's our elites. They're the ones that are that bring it, or that all of our problems are attached to, basically. All of our debt, the population the replacement and shit, that's all. It's basically, they're basically acting as like a little water pump for population, pumping people in while they cast other people aside. I mean, and that's kind of what they're doing, and they're trying to push off the decline of the American empire by replacing us, and it's kind of fucked up, you know. I mean, that's what they're doing to all of us, to all of the European countries. There isn't one European country on the planet that doesn't have their own government kind of actively replacing them at the moment. And like I seen a thing of England yesterday where it was like the Iranians protesting the war. Bro, it was in Scotland, in like some town in Scotland. And I heard a Middle Eastern dude, look like an Iranian dude, speaking with a thick ass Scottish accent. And I thought to myself, oh my God, bro, like my people aren't going to live there anymore in a few years. That accent isn't going to be associated with my people anymore. I mean, couldn't be any clearer than it is, man. Like, it's fucking sad, man. It really is sad. You know, I mean, we had shit made in the shade. Somehow we've managed to fuck it up, man, or somehow our leaders have managed to fuck it up. Something awful. I mean, bro, we had it. The English, then us, had it made in the shade for the last century, and like we just kind of like blindly stumbled into a catastrophe. Although I won't say blindly, a lot of people, most of the country is against this. You know, usually, like, when we start a war, the 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 uh the polling, or the public sentiment is reasonably high. We usually have a reason for it. Like Iraq, we had a pretty good public sentiment for Iraq. Bro, this Iran war, it started off unfavorable. It started off with no public backing. So this war isn't going to be stretched out. There's no appetite for it in America. Absolutely no appetite for it. And you know, normally, like before Iraq, we released the strategic petroleum reserves before we went into Iraq, so that there wasn't a delay, so that there wasn't a market shock. And not only that, we also talked to our European allies, who were also much more strong, or they were much more formidable back then. But we got their help and told them what the deal was, and we had their backing. And so when we went into Iraq, if we needed help, they could have helped. They helped us. Well, we don't have any of that this time, and we're not winning. It just don't look good, man. It really doesn't look good. They've managed to totally screw it up, man. I mean, and honestly, the Iranians, those are good people, and I don't even blame their government. I think their government, maybe they did treat their people shitty. Well, it is also a religious a theocracy, but they are not the belligerents, man. They have never asked for this. They never asked for this, man. They've been getting that whole region had never asked for this stuff. No, didn't ask for Israel. They've just had all this shit shoved down their throats. And we shoved, we broke the straw that broke the camel's back. We just kept fucking with them and kept being arrogant Europeans. And now we're getting thrown out. At least that's how it looks. It doesn't look good, that's for sure. I mean, pisses me off that we're actually in this situation. Like, what the fuck? And I feel like, man, there should be we should be able to, like, I wish we could throw these bastards out or just totally get rid of them. Like, rise up, strip their asses out of it, and then replace them because they just, and because it's like there's never a whole, it's never a brand new crop. It's always, there's always some incumbents that make it to the net. You know what I mean? So it's like one continuation. It's a continuous streak of slop, a continuous streak of cowardice, a continuous streak of scumbags. You know, and because we never get a whole fresh bushel of apples, there's always a couple of rotten apples in the bottom of the barrel that spoil the whole bushel. That's how it seems, you know? And I feel like, man, I wish we could just get a fresh bushel. Let's get a fresh bushel in here. You know, let's not. Well, everything's the same. You see, I mean, and maybe we could get rid of some of the laws that have come up in the last 50 years, but like everything's the same. We just put in guys who have never been in there before. Fresh, fresh politicians. You know, a fresh crop, fresh batch. Mowing the lawn, as it were, as Nick said. Nick says, mowing the lawn. I wish we could mow the lawn with our government. Get these fucking crooks out of there. Because, you know, you got assholes like Lindsey Graham that have been in there forever. They are tantamount to noblemen. These guys are fucking tantamount to lords. Oh, they get voted in from their shitty little, you know, North Carolina or Carolina fucking constituency. Who knows who makes it up? It could be a bunch of crooks or a bunch of nobodies, bunch of names on paper. Like, man, and we're stuck with these assholes. Lindsey Graham, this guy is a psycho. He's a old queen psychopath, bloodthirsty psychopath, man. And the whole lot of them just needs to be thrown out. They need to be just cast out into the wilderness, man. Exiled, denied fire, water, and shelter. No food, fire, water, and shelter. Fucking for 2,000 miles. Go to Mexico or Canada, you fuck. I mean, they have essentially they have gotten us, they've made us persona non grata. Bro, Canada and England turned their backs on us when Trump came out and stuck a hand, like asked for help. Well, I mean, it's really him that they turned their back on, but like, fuck, man. It's just Canada and England are, bro, basically are brothers. They're not even really separate countries. Like the Five Eyes, Australia, England, Canada, they're basically America. You know, they're just, yeah, it's they're basically America, just like once removed almost or something. Some almost by just a technicality, they're not. You know, they usually go in with us. They'll fight to the end with us. You know, the Australians, the English, the Canadians, almost every war. You know, they've been there for us. Not this time. It's just like, damn, dude, could our elites have fucked this up any worse? Dude, we went from the country that the whole world loved, man, and just was absolutely, you know, just thought good things of. Even after we had the Philippines and we, you know, we did a little bit of colonizing, we were still thought of as good. I mean, they think highly of us as people, but not our government. They think we're a good people ruled by a group of thugs, a group of gangsters. We have got a group of gangsters in control of our government and our taxes and our military, and that's how the rest of the world sees us. A good group of people with a group of fucking gangsters in charge, a group of mafioso gangsters in charge, and now we're getting the second order effects, the blowback from it, and it's disgusting, man. These guys got to pay. Nick is absolutely right. These motherfuckers got to go, man. They just handed the fucking American empire over to the Chinese. These people they can go fuck themselves that are in our government right now. They're crooks and they need to be fucking exiled. I mean, I'm sure we will too, but anyway, I hate to be I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be objective. This is what's going on. And it's better that we understand it, not pretend that this isn't the case. It is the case. Maybe we can stop it from happening. Who knows? But yeah, that's it for this stream. I'll be back on later on this evening for Nick's show. I might come on early too, depends. But, it when you know, when you see my video, whenever it says it's, notify me or whenever, I put the time there, that's when I'll be starting. But, I hope y'all, learned something you didn't know and got something out of it. You didn't, that I know the media isn't telling everything, and I just thought, you guys deserve to know what I know, and they're not telling the truth. So anyway, like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I seen it quite a few people already did, but yeah, smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And until later on this evening,